You ever have one of those mornings where the universe just hits play on a scene straight out of a crime drama, and you're the main character? That's how it felt the day those black SUVs rolled up. My driveway, sunlight bouncing off tinted windows, a little too bright, a little too sharp for 7:30 a.m. Guys in crisp navy windbreakers poured out, the kind you know from TV, big yellow FBI letters on. White-knuckling her clipboard like it's a riot shield, mouth wide open, just stuck. If you didn't know the backstory, you'd think she was the victim here. But the truth? I'd been documenting everything, every single one of her bogus violations, for 6 months straight. Agent Richard King, the lead guy, comes right up to my door. I swing it open before he even knocks. He introduces himself. With that calm, seen-it-all voice, asks if we can talk inside. I catch Judith out the window, twitching, like she can't decide if she should run or demand answers. She picks wrong, as usual, starts marching over, shoes squeaking on the sidewalk. King flashes his badge, and honest to God, I see the color drain right out of her face. Her precious clipboard slips and explodes all over her walkway, her tickets fluttering down like confetti at the world's most awkward parade. But hang on, let me back up. Because it didn't start with the feds on my doorstep. Nah, it started with the most ridiculous complaint you could imagine. And by the way, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, what state, what country, because this whole mess, it could happen anywhere. And if you're feeling that adrenaline already, go ahead and hit that hype button. Trust me, this story goes places. It kicked off on a dull Tuesday in March. Judith, new compliance officer, showed up to introduce herself, practically brandishing her clipboard like a sword. I'd been in Meadowbrook Estates 8 years without a peep, but she'd just moved in and declared herself sheriff of suburbia. Tight khaki pants, polo shirt, hair in a bun that looked physically painful. She could have modeled for a How to Be Uptight catalog. She tells me she's got complaints. Wants to inspect my. That's the grand emergency. Right then I realize, Judith doesn't just love rules, she loves wielding them. What she doesn't know? I'm a federal contractor. Regulatory compliance is literally my job. I help government agencies navigate red tape, document violations, build ironclad cases. She brought a paperclip to a gunfight. So, I asked to see the actual covenant that gives her authority. Her face twitches, papers shuffle. She reads a highlighted bit. Inspections allowed only for serious violations impacting safety or property value. None of my infractions qualify. Her face goes red. Tells me I'm difficult. Threatens to report me to the HOA board. I thank her, close the door. That, right there, was the starting bell. Next day, bam, violation notice taped to my door. Grass clippings on driveway. $50 if not fixed in 72 hours. I get out there, there's literally three, blades of grass, smaller than my pinky nail. I photograph them from every angle. Ruler for scale, research the covenant. Debris must be excessive and unsightly. 3 grass clippings? Please. But Judith goes all in. Garden hose uncoiled. Recycling bin has a tear. Car parked 6 inches off, on and on. Threats escalate. Fines, liens, even legal action. So I go full forensic. Install security cameras. Photograph every inch of my place. Research every bylaw. Build a database. But here's where it gets fun. I turn the lens on Judith's place. Turns out, her mailbox is rustier than mine. Her trash cans in plain sight. Hedge 6 inches too tall. Unauthorized garden lights. The works. Even better, she was never even appointed compliance officer. Just took the title, no vote, no qualifications. I bring it to the board president, Douglas Myers, thinking I'm about to blow the lid off. He shrugs it off, says she's helping the community. Points out she's a volunteer, deserves some flexibility. I ask for a written policy. He accuses me of being confrontational. That's when I realize this isn't about standards. It's about power and keeping people quiet. So I double down. Attend board meetings, request records, record everything. Turns out, Judith has been running a racket, charging homeowners unauthorized reinspection fees, pocketing thousands. I present evidence, expecting the board to act. Instead, they try to legalize the fees after the fact. That's when I realize the board's either in on it or terrified of her. I prepare for the next meeting like it's a federal case. Documents, photos, audio, statutes, the works. Drop the bombshell. Not only is Judith shaking down neighbors, she's running an unlicensed consulting business, offering to fix violations for a fee. Silence. Douglas tries to rush the agenda. I invoke my right to speak. Judith accuses me of harassment. The board stalls. But when I show proof she's using her role to drum up business, the mood changes. They table the vote. Judith quits on the spot, storms out, promises revenge. And she means it. Next month, she's filing every complaint she can think of: health department, fire marshal, code enforcement, one after the other. Nothing sticks, but every week brings a new inspector. Then she crosses the line, files a false EPA report, claims I'm dumping chemicals in my yard. This is no longer petty, it's criminal. EPA agent Mark Johnson investigates, finds nothing, but when he sees my documentation, he realizes this is a pattern. He digs deeper. Turns out Judith's pulled this in 2 other communities, always escalating from HOA gripes to false government reports. This is federal territory now. The FBI gets involved when they find she's filed over 40 bogus reports to half a dozen agencies. EPA, IRS, DHS, you name it, costing taxpayers hundreds of thousands. But Judith doesn't back down. She goes after my job, my clients, even tries to accuse me of terrorism with the FBI itself. The very agent she calls, Richard King, is the one leading the case against her. That's how, 6 months after her first clipboard crusade, those black SUVs end up in our driveways. The feds charge her with everything: false reports, harassment, conspiracy, the works. She gets prison time, hundreds of thousands in restitution, her house foreclosed, files bankruptcy. But here's the twist: the investigation uncovers a much bigger crime. The board, led by Douglas, has been embezzling community funds for years, using Judith's chaos as cover. Special assessments, fake vendors, padded expenses, over $400. 000 stolen. The whole board is indicted. Some take plea deals, others fight and lose. HOA comes under federal oversight. New leadership is voted in. Strict new rules on enforcement and finance go into effect. The compliance officer job? Gone for good. Homeowners now have real protections, real recourse, and a community that actually works together instead of living in fear. 5 years later, I still live here. My yard looks the same, maybe a little better, since now I'm not battling made-up violations every week. Judith's gone, Douglas is gone, the old management company dissolved. New folks moved in, and the place actually feels like a neighborhood. We're vigilant now. Nobody's getting away with that mess again. Funny thing is, Judith's obsession with documentation ended up helping everyone. Once the drama faded, folks pitched in to fix real issues, not invented ones. Property values soared, trust came back, and now I help other communities avoid the same traps. The lesson? When someone tries to weaponize bureaucracy, don't stoop to their level. Out-document, outsmart, outlast. Justice isn't always quick, but when it lands, it sticks. So, have you ever dealt with a petty tyrant or seen bureaucracy used as a weapon? Drop your story in the comments. Let's hear where you stand on community, justice, and the line between order and overreach.